Welcome back, everybody, to 3 Point Lines here on the Parlay. I'm your host, Luca Rosano, alongside my co-host, Noor Zainab, and we are back with another slate of NBA games. We got 7 on tap for tonight, as we will look to pick some winners from the association. Last night, I went 5-8 as my overall records at 53%. Noor, how are you looking going into this Thursday night?
I was 4 of 8, and I'm still stuck at 51%. Last night was crazy. The Jazz really beat me. The who else? The Nuggets beat me up. The Cavaliers beat me up. Everyone that I favored and I thought was going to have a good game did not. So let's see how tonight goes. I'm just praying at this point.
Yeah, the biggest surprise last night was the Nuggets losing outright to the Thunder. So not too many people saw that. We got a great slate of games, some good matchups coming up later on. But we're first going to start with this one. We got the Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks, as the Bulls are 1 point favorites here on the road.
There's so many fun games on tonight. Grizzlies, Celtics, Bulls, Hawks, Heat, Nets, Warriors, Mavericks, Toronto Pistons, if you want to call it a rematch. But I hope you guys have your evening open and free tonight. And before anything, Trae Young is day to day, and he didn't participate in today's morning shoot around. I'm not sure what that means, but I think if he's going to make an appearance, this is the game to come back to. Otherwise, he'd be resting nicely for the Hawks and for the Wizards. For the Hawks while they play the Wizards and the Pistons the next two games. They will be without John Collins and Lou Williams as well, so that already adds to your shooting troubles. They'll be going up against the Eastern Conference Player of the Month now, apparently, DeMar DeRozan, and he did only have 18 points in his last game against the Heat, but I think I see him bouncing back after especially having 3 days off. This is DeMar DeRozan. He's not going to let an 18-point night be his deciphering factor. He's going to come back and bounce back, especially going up against a big team like the Hawks. Bulls are lacking on defense without Caruso for sure. They are number 21 in efficiency when it comes to that. But I think without Trae Young, I'm not too worried about it if he's not going to be suiting up. And being as close as it is, I think the Bulls can win this. So give me Chicago. How about you?
Yeah, I'm surprised the spread is as low as it is. This is essentially a pick 'em game, and I gotta go with Chicago as well. Both of these teams are coming off very disappointing losses this week, but I trust Chicago more than I trust the Hawks in this spot to bounce back. DeMar DeRozan, as long as he's there, he's gonna give the Bulls that offensive firepower that they need. Bulls are still missing some key pieces, Caruso and Ball, two of the biggest ones. But yeah, the Hawks coming into this one a little bit hobbled. As you mentioned, Collins
Mhm.
is out. Trae Young, he's actually listed as questionable. He is probably going to play in this one, but how's that ankle feeling? Is that going to be a setback for him in any way? So I look at the Bulls here. I'm getting only 1 point that I got to lay. I'm taking that all day. So yeah, give me Chicago.
All right, now let's stick to the same Eastern Conference theme. We've got the game, Dwayne Casey taking on the Toronto Raptors. Not even the Pistons anymore. It's Dwayne Casey taking on the Raptors. Luca, do you think he's giving the Braveheart speech right now? And who are you going to go with?
Yeah, I'm surprised the spread is as high as it is. I mean, you look at this rivalry, if you want to call it that, or matchup. The Pistons have owned the Raptors lately. You look at the Pistons; they have covered their last 5 games against the Raptors, and Detroit has won those last couple of games as well. And Toronto, I know they are the much better team on paper, but to lay 8.5 against a Dwayne Casey squad that they are practicing their hearts out, getting ready for this one. Every time they play the Raptors, it's their NBA Finals. I think there's going to be some motivation, especially with Dwayne Casey going to Toronto, where there are going to be fans. There are going to be all of that, that crazy energy in the building. Dwayne Casey would love nothing more than to silence the fans, silence the crowd, and get another win against his former team. So I'm not saying the Pistons are going to win. I finally do think the Raptors will beat the Pistons, but I'm not laying 8.5. I think this is going to be a close game. Give me the Pistons plus 8.5.
I don't think Vegas knows that Dwayne Casey loves to be the villain. I'm not sure what they're thinking here either. And you're right. We talked about this already. It is the NBA Finals for Dwayne Casey here. Pistons have whooped our bomb in 5 straight contests. And I'm not sure if tonight will be any different. You mentioned it. The spread's way too big. And even if Dwayne Casey and Pistons are not going to win, I think they'll keep it close. OG's already listed out, and Fred is questionable. And Thaddeus Young is also now listed as day to day. So you are losing guys who are giving you a lot of offensive weapons and a lot of offensive power, especially if you look at Thaddeus Young. He was absolutely just on fire from three, where he made one all season with the Spurs. The Pistons have been on a roll the past couple of weeks, and they've been covering the spread in their last 5 games. Each time each time the Pistons also beat the Raptors, they were underdogs. And tonight, I think, will be the same song that's been sung every single time. It's way too many points for a guy who wants to go Gotham on Toronto. And you know he's going to be giving a Braveheart type speech probably like right now. Give me Detroit.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. All right, next one. We got a fun one of the best matchups of the night. We got two hot teams, Grizzlies taking on the Celtics. Celtics favored by 2.5.
I'm telling you, this is such a fun night in the NBA. And it's a Thursday too, so I'm like, what's happening? But yeah, another fun matchup. The only thing about this one is Jaylen Brown is already out. He's been listed
Yeah.
out, and Pons is also out for Memphis. But we already know how much Jaylen Brown helps out this Celtics team and also complements someone like Jason Tatum. After the show that Ja put on Monday, I don't know how they're not favored in this matchup, especially now that Brown is also not going to be playing. After two disappointing losses to the Blazers and Wolves, Memphis rebounded by beating the Bulls, and Ja just had a night against the Spurs. Losing Brown, I think, will be huge for the Celtics, and having Derek White there for sure becomes convenient after the trade. But this is a Memphis Grizzlies team that's been on fire since day one. They literally have not stopped. And Boston is one of the better defensive teams here, but I don't know how they could stop someone like Ja. Pop couldn't stop someone like Ja, so I don't know how they'll be able to do it. I like the advantage to the Grizz here, so give me the Grizzlies. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Jaylen Brown being out is going to be a huge X factor in this game, and he is expected to miss some time with that ankle sprain. Very unfortunate, especially with the way the Celtics have been clicking. Very surprised that the odds makers are still showing the Celtics respect here by making them the favorites at home. That just tells you how good the Celtics have been lately, considering how good the Grizzlies have been lately. And like you said, Ja's been on an unbelievable personal run. He's got people talking about him entering the MVP conversation. He had that big night against the Bulls. He followed that up by having a career high 52 against San Antonio. And that's still a San Antonio Spurs team. I don't care if they've fallen apart. They're still head coached by Greg Popovich. I mean, for Ja to do that against that team, that says a lot. And this is a Grizzlies team that they have been one of the best in terms of covering the spread, especially on the road. So I'm in a position where every time you see the Grizzlies and you see them as an underdog, especially, you have to take the point. So I do like the Grizzlies in this spot. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game, but I'm backing John Company to keep it going.
All right, we've been agreeing all night so far. Let's see how we fare out with this Kevin Durant return. Luca, are you ready? He's back, taking on the Miami Heat at home tonight, where the Heat are favored by -2.5. Are you gonna ride with the easy money sniper?
I'm riding with the hype. I think Brooklyn figures it out tonight. I'm gonna go with the Brooklyn Nets plus 2.5. I think they're gonna win this game. I think Kevin Durant makes all the difference in the world, and we're gonna see that immediately as soon as tonight. As you look at Miami, I think they're going to come into this one a little bit demoralized. I mean, they literally had a game that slipped away from them against the Bucks. They had that game in the bag. Now, luckily, they were still able to cover, but they should have won that game. The Bucks went on a ridiculous run in the final minute, leading to Drew Holiday's game winner. So they're not going to be confident going into this one. And in 10 back-to-backs this season, the Heat are just 3-7 overall and 4-6 against the spread. Kyle Lowry's not going to be out there, it looks like, but keep an eye on that if things change. Kevin Durant is going to show people why he is still one of the best players and arguably the best player in the NBA today. I think he's going to make an immediate impact. He's going to alleviate so much of that pressure off those other shooters who I think are going to have big games. You know, guys like Patty Mills who's been struggling lately, Seth Curry, even Goran Dragic, I think is going to get his. I'm really liking Brooklyn tonight. I think they will figure it out. So give me the Nets plus 2.5, and they got to play with some urgency. Like this team continues to lose. The season's winding down. They got to start winning these games. So look for Brooklyn to be in postseason mode tonight.
I don't know if you're convincing me right now. I'm not gonna lie, I've spent so long on this game just trying to figure out what's gonna happen. And on two sides, you have this. So you've got the Miami Heat who played last night, got killed by the Bucks, as you said it. But the one thing that, if anything, kind of puts me in Miami's corner is the fact that Butler had such a bad game. And if he's able to somehow bounce back even a little bit tonight, it gives them the extra factor, the extra edge, and everything. You mentioned it. Kyle Lowry's already listed as day to day. We don't know what his status will be like closer to the game, but as of right now, I'm gonna take it as he should be playing since Kevin's back. Like, this is the game to come back to, in my opinion, if you're going to be coming back, right? And if he's there, I think that it will be a whole different team, a whole different game. I don't want to take any slights against Kevin here because you mentioned it, him coming back, no matter what he looks like, I think he will be on minutes restriction, but no matter what he looks like, his impact defensively, offensively will be felt for everybody on the court. But the only factor that I'm looking at here is that this is still a new Nets team that's bringing guys in together right now. Kevin's going to be entering this team that's going to have so many fresh new faces that he's never seen before, played next to. And it'll just be the time for him to see what this team looks like. I think it's way too early to have them out to win. I think honestly they probably still could win. They probably can still come out and win this one with Kevin Durant there, but I just think that because it's such a new team and there's so many different factors that we haven't looked at, and they're going up against a team like Miami that has everything figured out, that has their guys plugged in, they have the next man up mentality. They're coached by such a great guy who understands how to adjust and when to adjust. And I just think if Lowry's back, this should be their game. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know what happens with this one. This one's going to be crazy. I think it'll be the game of the night, honestly, with Kevin back. So keep your eyes on it. And the spread makes total sense for how close it is.
Yeah, it could go either way. I know that's probably the game of the night. Or this one could be. This is another fantastic matchup. We got the Warriors and the Mavericks. Odds makers are giving the Mavericks their flowers here. The Mavs are actually favorites here, 1.5 at home.
I see why, because I'm going to go with them. Warriors do have a pretty big injury report here with Iggy and Green and Wiseman still out, but it looks like Clay and Moses Moody will be suiting up for this one, while Damian Lee is questionable, which, as we know, probably means he will be playing for this. While the Mavericks have Pinson, Chris, Nilkina, Burke, all probably not playing tonight, so it will be pretty much a Dinwiddie and Luca show. But the Warriors just haven't been as scary since the start of the new year. Even recently, they've lost four of their last five, while the Mavericks have won 8 of their last 10. And their last matchup on Sunday, the Mavericks beat the Warriors by 6 points. And granted, they will be having Clay back in the lineup, but I just don't think that he'll have the impact that they need from him. He hasn't really had that all season, and just yet, it's a lot to ask from a guy who's coming back from a long injury. They haven't been able to defend effectively either without Draymond, and I think they'll have a hard time to stop Luca tonight. So I think it will be a Luca show over the Curry show, and I'm going to take the Mavericks here. How about you?
Right now, I was going back and forth with this game as well. Clay coming back is definitely going to make an impact for the Warriors, but I still think they need that big three intact to look like a championship team. And they're going up against a Dallas team. They're looking very scary right now in the Western Conference. And the Warriors, they have not been a safe bet lately. 1-8 against the spread when facing a team that allows 108 fewer points. And Dallas has been one of the best defensive teams in the NBA since the new year. And the Mavericks have been a safe bet against the spread. They're 20-8 against the spread when coming off of a road game this season. And they're going to be fired up to get back in Dallas and take on the Warriors again and look to beat the Warriors again. I mean, the Mavericks are also 18-8 against the spread when coming off a game in which they failed to cover the season. So not only do they have the numbers on their side, they have the momentum on their side. Luca's been playing great. I think Jason Kidd's squad is going to pull out the win tonight. So I like Dallas here, -1.5.
Well, if you didn't believe me, you should believe Luca and his numbers. We have got another game in the Western Conference tonight with the Kings taking on the Spurs, where the Spurs are favored by -6.5. Are you going to ride with Popovich?
Yeah, this is a confusing game. I went back and forth with this one as well. I will take the points. I'm going to take the Kings here. San Antonio, they haven't been really good. They've lost their last two, I believe. And I know Sacramento's been struggling against their own conference, but this is a game where I just think Sacramento will show up. San Antonio, they just played 8 straight road games, so they're finally going to be back at home. That could give them the morale boost, but I think they're going to be exhausted, and fatigue could be an issue for them playing all these games in such a short period of time. I think it'll be a close one, so I'll take the points. I'll take Sacramento.
I'm actually going to disagree with you here. I think the Spurs will win. I think the question is pretty much just if they will win by 7. And if you look at the Kings injury report, Terrence Davis is ruled out. So is Holmes, and Spurs look pretty much healthy and they're good to go. Knock on wood. And Pop's side has tried to find a spark and a late push into the play-in spot right now. So I think they will be hungry. They've got a good young squad and Pirtle, Hart, Murray, and this should be a pretty decisive win against the shaky Kings team that's been all over the place recently. So I'm actually going to go with the Spurs here. Sorry, Luca.
No, it's good to disagree. And yeah, Sacramento's not my most confident bet of the night. So I think you should listen to Noor on this one. We'll see though. And the last game of the night, this is going to be a good one. The Battle of LA. I mean, it's been dominated by one LA team the last couple of times, but we do have the Lakers and the Clippers. Clippers -2.5. Will they keep that domination going here?
There's only one LA team right now. I'm not sure about the other one. Let's just look at the injury report first. There's no AD, two questionable Avery Bradley and LeBron James, and a probable THT. And Clippers won't have Norman Powell, but they don't need him tonight. They don't need him tonight. Clippers play so much better as a team with Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann providing firepower, and their defense has always been intact. It's just the Clippers thing to be able to play defense if you're going to be on the team. And they're in way better form than the Lakers, who would just look like they're about to give up. There's so many on court issues that have trailed off to off court right now. And you just don't know. Like you're hearing rumors about LeBron and Russell Westbrook being in talks and amicably deciding that they're not going to be spending the next season together. And AD not knowing where he will be and what his injury is like. And apparently LeBron having to leave Lakers if Jeannie Buss can't create that relationship further. So it's just there's a lot happening there. I just don't think the Lakers are a basketball team right now. I think they're more of a reality team, and that's why I like the Clippers. So I'm gonna ride with the actual LA team here. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised the spread's as low as it is, given the Lakers'
Yeah.
struggles. I know they did show some heart against the Mavs in that attempted comeback that fell short, but the Clippers have had their number. I mean, the Clippers have beaten the Lakers in their last three matchups this season, and I mean those games have been close. The total was actually 8 points of deciding all three of those games combined. But the Clippers, they've had two of those wins on the road, and they're 20-13 in the arena. So I think they're going to get it done here. I really like what the Clippers have been doing. This is a team that continues to find different ways to win without their superstar duo, and then Norman Powell as well, who's been missing some time lately. Yeah, I think the Clippers are going to take advantage of a very mediocre Lakers team right now. And I think after this game, the conversation is going to officially shift to, are the Lakers even going to make the play in? Because if they keep on losing, we talked about a matchup in our previous game. If a team like the Kings or the Spurs get hot, and even the Pelicans actually, who have been
Yeah.
playing out of their minds, and the Lakers keep on losing, the Lakers could very well fall out of this thing. So tonight's a must win. Every game's going to be a must win for the Lakers. But yeah, I think they're going to have another L.
Yep, you heard it here first. If you're a Lakers team, fan, player, whatever game you play now, you got to give your blood, sweat, and tears on the court. You heard it here first. This is Luca, Rosano, and Noor Zainab on 3 Point Lines. We break down NBA picks for you every single day at 3 p.m., 5 days a week. And we'll be back here tomorrow on Friday at 3 p.m. just to break down tomorrow night's games. You know where to find us, all of our socials at The Parlay, as well as Parlay TV. And we will catch you tomorrow. Thank you and take care.